Welcome to the Artist Academy podcast, a place where we focus on the business side of art to help you attract more customers, increase profits, and ultimately live a life of creativity and financial freedom. I'm your host, Andrea Earhart, and this week's episode features Texas muralist Whitney Hayden. And if you listened to Crystal Frye's episode just 2 recordings back, you'll hear a mention of the name Whitney a few times. We're referencing this Whitney, who you'll be listening to today, and you'll also hear Crystal chime in a bit too. That's because even though they live states apart, these two organized an in-person paint session together to learn from each other. 2 muralists who are doing just fine on their own. They're making great money and they're booked out and they're doing well, but even on top of that, they wanted to meet up and collaborate and grow and learn from each other. And I just wanted to highlight that feature before we got started here because I love that idea so much. You know, Crystal brings a lot to the table and so does Whitney, and they wanted to team up, and Crystal taught Whitney how to do some tutorials type things, and Whitney taught her some painting techniques. And yeah, they both got to learn from it. It was a very mutual thing, and I loved it. I actually messaged Whitney on the side after they met up, and I was like, how'd it go? And like, actually, would you want to do this? I want to do this with you. Maybe we can get Crystal together and a couple others and we can really meet up and learn from each other. Very similar to what our mural meetups are every year. We're about to have one this summer and within the Artist Academy, but our mural meetups is a lot more of I'm teaching people how to paint a mural and just all of everything that goes into that. It's a lot. And we go to a museum and we go and we see a bunch of murals and get in-person practice and we do on a lift and stuff. But mostly like, I'm teaching that. So I messaged Whitney. I'm like, hey, I want to do something that's mutually beneficial to me too. I want to learn from you guys. So that may be in the works. But anyway, so I actually did not know that these two were meeting up when I asked them separately to interview. And it just so happened that I interviewed them within the same couple weeks and then they met up right afterwards. But sometimes I get these like mental taps on the shoulder that sound something like, hey, maybe you should interview Whitney again since it's been over 4 years since her first interview. And her business has changed so much since then, and her newfound storefront would be a really fun topic. And so I don't know where that thought kind of came from, but I listened to it and I asked and she agreed. And this interview is really down to earth. And it's just 2 longtime art friends chatting about our businesses. Like I said, I interviewed Whitney over 4 years ago and we've just stayed in touch. She's come to several mural meetups and it's really been fun to watch her mural business grow. And she's somebody that I kind of look at as like an equal. You know, like she started her business. Well, I guess she's been doing this longer than me, actually, I should say. But it's so cool because we get to come and talk about pricing, and our pricing structure is very similar. And so in the past, we've texted each other like, hey, how much would you charge for this? And we'll tell it. She tells it straight. And I really enjoy that about her. So this is just a fly on the wall conversation that I would have liked to listen to about the topic of murals, prints, and what it's like to open a storefront. Like back in the day, I would have loved to listen to this, especially when I was still trying to figure out which avenue I wanted to go in. And she talks openly about where her profits are coming from. And I think the numbers might surprise you. So let me know what you think about this week's episode with Whitney Hayden. Hello, I am here with Murals by Whitney. That's what most of you know her by. That's what I call you, actually. I say the full thing. I'm like, this is Murals by Whitney. We're going to be asking her questions about her mural business and how it's evolved because Whitney was the first person I ever reached out to that I didn't know to interview on the podcast. I think you're episode number 3. And we just talked about murals. And I reached out to you because I had seen your stuff on Instagram initially 4 years ago. And I loved that your name had murals in it, first off. But it's your business has evolved so much from whenever we first interviewed to now. You have a storefront and all the things. So I'd love to ask you all the questions about how it's evolved. But first, can you let people know who you are and where you're located and all the things?
Yes, I am Whitney Hayden. I paint murals all over Houston and kind of beyond. And I've been painting murals for 11 years. Or, yeah, is it 11 still? I don't know. I feel like I said that last time we talked. Maybe it's still 11. Yeah, actually, it's thanks to you that I've evolved from just painting murals every day and I do so much more fun stuff. Like you kind of helped me think outside the box and what else I could do. And, it kind of led to one thing to another to another. And yeah, now I have a storefront and a van. It's awesome.
I love that. I remember, so you came to our first ever mural meetup.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sad that I haven't been to another one.
And yeah, in Iowa we had one and it was 3 years ago. And yeah, I remember you talking to me at that one and you were like, so tell me about this print thing that you do.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, I do this and that. And then you just had this fire lit under you after that. I remember seeing you post all the time about prints and now you have stickers and now you have a storefront.
Yeah. It's just when I was painting murals every day after like 10 and 11 years, I just felt like I was just going to work every day and it was kind of not as fulfilling as I wanted it to be, like I wanted more fun things to do. So when I saw you doing prints, I just really wanted to, get more creative because, you can't always be super creative when you're painting murals for other people because, they kind of tell you what they want. And I just wanted to do other things. And so the first thing that changed everything was the 31-day challenge. And that really helped me make time for painting things that I wanted to paint and on canvas and kind of step away from the murals. Not like, I mean, obviously I had to keep painting murals because that's where the money is, but it changed everything. Like I couldn't for some reason, I couldn't make myself do it before. I needed like you and your community to like help me push through, this, I don't know what to do and I'm afraid to do this. And so I just did it slowly but surely.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
I did the 31-day challenge and I had 31 paintings and I was like, what can I do? And so I started just following more and more artists and I saw like, okay, how is she making stickers? So I made a few of those and it's just so much fun to do this more creative outside of the mural world kind of stuff. So I did the print of the month and I still do that and I love that. Do you still do that?
I actually am sending out my last print of the month
I
this
kind of
month.
thought, I think I heard you say something like you're not doing it anymore, but my mom sends them out, so it's fun.
Yes, if I had someone sending them out for me for a while and then that fell through and then I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm pretty
I
much
get
like,
that. And
yeah.
I mean, I get tired of doing things too. So that's why I like changing it up and finding all these different things to sell. And even though it's not like my moneymaker, obviously, murals is the moneymaker, but it's just fun.
Okay. I was going to ask, yeah, that maybe percentage of income, how much comes from murals and how much comes from other things?
Oh, it's mostly like big time murals, obviously. The
Big,
other
big
thing, I
time
mean,
murals. Love it.
yeah, I mean, so in January when we did the January challenge and I was really, well, everybody had to go to my website to buy my everyday originals, you know what I mean, in January. So people were buying a lot of my other products. And now, I don't talk about it too much, so it's all dwindled, but it's totally fine because, you know, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, and
I
it
mean,
is funny where you put your, your posts and where you direct people constantly is where
yeah,
they go and they're buying. But once you stop directing them there,
yeah,
yeah, because I don't sell many prints because I never talk about it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
so you're a big time muralist, and
yeah.
I say you do a lot of murals. And I remember we talked about pricing. Oh gosh, I remember we made a video in the academy probably 3 years ago, and we talked about pricing.
Mhm.
And you were pricing at about $80 or $90 an hour
It was
back
a hundred
then.
dollars an hour.
Was it $100 an hour?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and now you're doing what?
200 an hour.
$200 an hour. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay, and do you still have your family working with you?
Yep. My mom and my husband, Jason. So pretty much almost every day. I mean, sometimes, I don't need two helpers and my mom will go to the studio and, print stuff or whatever. So I like also having that because I can still, it kind of almost gives her an extra job too. She has
Yeah.
a place to go now where she can package and ship things. Cause, I get small orders every now and then. It's just not like it was in January, which is totally fine. Like I knew it was going to die down. But, it's cool because we have a place to go and a place to work outside of our home and she can go there and do stuff and she does the books there. And if I ever have a day off, I can go there and paint instead of painting in my garage.
So it's a family affair business. You have your husband and your mom. And I remember just to kind of go over a little bit about how you got started, you started doing murals for kids' rooms,
Mhm.
right? In the very beginning. And I remember you had mentioned to me one time that you did it even after you had your son Mason, and one of your customers was like, "Hey, you remember the last time you were here? You had to stop and go breastfeed real
Yeah.
quick to come back." And I've always remembered that, and especially now that I have a little one, I'm like,
Yeah.
I totally get it now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started way back then, and it just kind of happened, kind of
Well,
started out for
actually,
fun.
I mean, technically, I started. I mean, no, you're right. I mean, obviously, my business is named Murals by Whitney, so I did start advertising to paint murals. But like the first year, it wasn't a whole bunch of murals. I was doing lots of small stuff like birthday boards and globes and like painting small stuff and in between when I could find a mural job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was pretty fast that murals were just all the time. So, but I did have to start off with smaller stuff until I had murals all the time.
Yeah. So what kind of projects do you book nowadays? Because you have some pretty big time stuff. What's like an average day in the life, or what's your average project lately?
Yeah, I'm definitely getting more and more, obviously, since my prices have gone up, getting less residential and a lot more commercial. And I think I'm booking an out of state job in a couple months. So that's kind of cool. I think that's my first, no, because I did work in Louisiana, but that was residential. This is a huge city wall for a city. So that's exciting.
Oh, how did you bid that? Like how are you bidding these jobs?
They actually told me what their budget was, and I was like, yep, that's fine.
Okay, what is it? What's the budget? I'm glad we're talking numbers.
It is 15,000.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your average mural cost probably?
It's really probably around 2,400.
Okay.
A lot of 2-day jobs. But so still a lot of 1 day. I still get several residential and then a few more. But I would say mostly $2,400 about there.
Cool. And then so usually you have you and your mom and your husband out there working. And are you
Hmm.
going to train the little one to work there eventually?
I hope so. He's not wanting to yet, but I know one day he'll want to make money, and I'll pay more than any other place.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Do you still pay your mom $100 a day?
I went up a little bit.
Okay.
I did
What
go
is
up a little bit, and now I have to pay Jason. So
Yeah.
similar.
I love it. I love it that you can trust them. I think trust is a big thing. Like having other artists come on, you're like, are you going to steal my customer? But you're having your family. But
Yeah.
it would be so hard to work with family. Like, do you guys have around the dinner table conversations about murals?
Yeah, we pretty much only talk. That's all we do is work. So we're always telling each other about work. Yeah, that's pretty much all we talk about. But yeah, it is hard sometimes. I mean, I get on their nerves, they get on mine. But Jason listens to his music, and me and my mom talk crap the whole time. So that's what we do.
I love it. Okay, so tell me about how this storefront came about. See, I know about it a little bit, but everybody else doesn't.
Yeah. So I guess it was in January. I was just kind of making more and more products, and everybody was going to my website to buy, all my products and the everyday originals that I was posting. And so my mom had all the products at her house, and she's like in her garage packaging and shipping stuff. And I had 2 printers in a closet at my house, and then I'm painting in the garage, and we had to put an AC unit in the garage. And I was just like, this is crazy. And so I don't know. I guess it was my mom. It's always her idea, apparently. She was like, let's just get a little tiny place that we just kind of hold stuff and we can go there. And I'm like, well, obviously I need a place to paint. And so it just kind of really fast evolved into, if we're going to have a place, why not let people come in and, shop the stuff. So it was like really fast. And I do have one regret that I didn't get my store on Main Street, like in the our downtown city, Main Street, because, obviously that would have been a little bit better. But I was like, it doesn't matter. This is practice. I have a 2-year lease, so we can go to Main Street later or not do this anymore.
Yeah, I love that. It's like baby steps. This is practice. So you had like an opening day and then your storefront is open once a week or?
No, just once a month. I don't want to work all the weekends, which that's another good reason that, being on Main Street, I probably feel like I have to be open on every weekend, but I don't want to work on the weekends. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
So I'm just open once a month. And my plan is to, during the month, I'm like trying to get at least one, maybe two, maybe three originals painted if I have any time off, which I kind of haven't had that yet. And then they won't be available to buy until like the first time they will be available is the day I'm open, the first Saturday of every month. So hopefully that'll kind of bring, whoever wants to buy that painting in. And then the day after that, then they'll go on the website so that somebody else can, who doesn't want to come in can buy it. That's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
that's our plan.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't want to work on the weekends either. So, yeah, baby steps.
But, like I had the closet full of the printers. We had stuff at my mom's house, my artwork like hanging all over my house, painting in the garage. It was just so much better. And it's an expense. It was just better to have it all in one place outside of our house. We can go there and work. I can paint. And then if people want to come in, my phone number's on the door. They can just call and we'll just run right over. It's 5 minutes away. So we just go over and let people in, every now and then, whenever they want.
Very cool. Okay. Where are customers finding you? And actually, another one. We were on our virtual meetup this morning with the Academy, and I was asking people, it's like, hey guys, I'm interviewing Whitney. Do you guys have any questions for her? She has a storefront and everything. And Rayanne had a really good question. She asked, did having a storefront, does that increase your mural jobs or the other way around? Like, do they help kind of play on each other?
Well, probably not. I've only had it like 3 months. And actually, a business owner who's building like 3 businesses on the street that I'm on, he drove by and saw Murals by Whitney on the little marquee, went to the store and called us. And, we met him there for a mural. So he probably wouldn't have found me unless he saw my storefront. So that was cool. I never thought that would happen. So no, I don't really think so. Other than that, I think, all my business comes from social media.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Facebook?
Yeah. And Instagram.
And Instagram?
Now
Okay.
that's growing. Remember, I used to have like no followers and I would be scared to make videos. And so now that's going good too.
Yeah. You're doing all the things now, like all of it. Even so, I just interviewed Crystal with the Easy Easel, and is she there yet? Is she coming?
Well, she's coming on the 8th. So I just had to drive to College Station today. And then at 5 a.m., I'm going back home to see her, and she'll be at my studio on the 8th and the 9th. And I'm hoping she can teach me how to record some tutorials. Maybe she'll help me do one, and I'm going to show her some stuff. And yeah, I'm excited about that. That's fun.
I love that.
I know.
Oh man. Yeah. And I had no idea that you guys were doing that when I had scheduled your interviews together in the same week. I just interviewed her too. I'm like, man, it's just such a small mural world.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we can all work together to, showcase your stuff. And
yeah. It's so cool when you meet somebody who wants to hang out and learn with you and, grow with you instead of the opposite.
Yeah, for sure. So are you coming to our mural meetup in the Dominican Republic in October?
When do I have to tell you? I want to come.
So I'm still working out the details, but I should know all of the details in July. And then, so I'll let you know in July and August, and I'll probably be bugging you if you haven't booked by September. Like,
okay.
Hey,
yes, I totally do want to come. I need to make myself like I made myself the last time. I need to do it.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. I think most of the people, like if it's their first mural meetup or whatnot, they come to Missouri, but if they've been to one before, like Lissa and all of them, like I think they'll come. So it'll be probably people that you've met before already. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess someone listening to this, they look at your business and they're like, okay, she's been doing murals for 10 years. She does all the things, prints, and she's a storefront. What is some advice that you would give artists that want to do what you're doing, whether it's murals or storefront or what's all the things? Like, what's a good piece of advice that you would give somebody just starting out?
Well, people message me all the time and ask me these things, and I look at their page. And usually they're not, I feel like the one thing that everybody's talked to me about was like, we love watching your videos. That's what everybody I see and who hire me, they all say that. Oh, I just love watching your videos. I love to see you paint. And it goes from this to finish really fast. A lot of people maybe just post pictures. And I think you really have to get a little bit more creative to catch people's eye, with the videos. And I feel like that's what set me apart and made me grow really fast, because everybody was like addicted to watching my videos. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
used to just do the time lapse videos, and now I'm doing more of the Instagram. Like, you don't see the whole process from beginning to end with the time lapse. You just see these little chunks to make it go really fast. It's different. And now I can't even do that anymore because Instagram won't let me share my videos on Facebook. I don't know how do you make videos for Facebook with cool music?
I have to add it separately. So I actually I edit in this app called InShot, and I edit my video in there, and then I'll upload it to Instagram and add a song, and then I'll take the same video and upload it to Facebook and add a different song. So
But how do you add your songs on Facebook?
I go to add, so there's a Reels, so you can like make a reel on there, but you have to so you go to post and then you go to reel, like make a reel instead of just adding a video.
See, I
So,
don't see that option. So I'll talk to you about that later. But
okay.
yeah, every time there's a change, I'm like, great, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Instagram is definitely a lot easier when it comes to
Yeah.
adding all that
Yeah.
stuff.
So now I'm just like, I post on Instagram every day, and now I can't post on Facebook until I figure it out. I'm just posting pictures on Facebook, which is what I'm telling y'all to not do because, I don't know. I think that interesting video is what catches people's eye. And then, and you got to post twice a day. Like, I feel like the best time for me is 6 a.m. in the morning or a little bit earlier, and 6 at night.
Okay.
If I post any other time during the day, it's like nothing, like 2 views or something. I'm like, okay, I have to stick to in the morning when people are like on it right before they go to work, and then when they get home.
Okay, so you're posting twice a day. I love that because I just interviewed Crystal with the Easy Easel, and she just commented right here. She said she sent a bunch of hearts, so she's watching.
Okay.
Yeah, she posts a lot too, and I think that's just a good reminder now again that you have to post your stuff,
Yeah.
like videos, photos, all that, just like get in people's. Because I got in a habit here recently that I haven't posted that much, and now I'm making myself post at least once a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I know. This past week I've been really kind of bad, but for the past couple of years I've been doing twice a day. Like, that's how my Instagram kind of woohoo! Yeah, I got somewhere finally with that one.
Yeah. You have how many followers on Facebook now, and how many on Instagram? It's quite a bit. It used to be like a couple thousand, and now it's a lot.
And I had 3 videos that kind of just kept making that number go. So that was cool. And now I don't even care anymore because it's just I don't remember, honestly. Is it?
I think it's like 35, 37 on Facebook.
And both. I think they're about the same.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you go. Yeah. And so
I don't care anymore. I just wanted more than 10K. So now I just don't care.
You're like, yeah. Okay. So from posting twice a day, do you post like a photo and a video, or 2 videos?
I usually do 2 videos. And then like sometimes, you just can't. You're just like, whatever, I'll just post a little photo. And like I said, this past week I've been really bad and not posting anything. Mainly because they Instagram made that change, so I can't post on Facebook anymore. But yeah, videos, as much as possible, videos. Okay. And then if you can't, just post a photo.
Okay. So what does your mural process look like? So if someone reaches out to you and they say, hey, I want a Murals by Whitney mural, and I want it to be however big or what is the first couple questions you ask them? Like, do you take a deposit? Where how far out are you scheduling them? How do you talk to them? What's your process like?
So I always have them send me a picture of the wall to be painted and any ideas or inspiration that they have. And a lot of times it's something I've done 100 times, and I just like have a set price for it. So I know whether, it's a floral wall or a faux wood wall, then it just is what it is. Or if it's something I haven't done before, then I'll think about it a little bit, talk to Jason. We just kind of figure out how long we think we can get, whether it's going to take us 1 day or 2 days or 3 days or whatever. And then I give them a quote, and then I do take a deposit, at least $600. Sometimes I've been telling a lot of people, like, I take half down now. And then the rest one's complete. You don't want me to tell your people this probably, but I still don't do contracts, which is a big no-no.
Me either.
What? I thought you
did. Ryan wants me to. My husband.
I'm the worst. But you've had a problem. I never have. So
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, but it's just one problem.
Yeah.
And I've learned from it.
Yeah. And you post about that every now and then. They'll see it and you won't have it, you won't have
Yeah. If it's a really big job, I'll break out the contract just so I look official.
Yeah, and the one I'm getting that job out of state, they're sending me a contract. So if I don't like it, I'm like, I'm gonna use one of yours maybe, I have to see what theirs says.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Crystal just commented. She goes, I don't do contracts either.
Yeah, I'm so bad. But I'm so not a business and paperwork person. I'm the worst. Like, thank God I have my mom to help me with the business side of it because I'd probably be going to jail or something.
Like with taxes and stuff, you're like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
But they have had their own business for 40 years. They do AC and she's always done their books. So like, yeah, I can trust her and I don't have to really worry about it too much. I just do whatever she tells me to do.
So you do a lot of like faux walls kind of a thing. So you did one of shiplap is really big. And so you would do a lot of, you basically paint the wall to look like shiplap, but it wouldn't be wood because it's really
Right.
expensive. So how do you price those? And then how long does a shiplap wall take you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So if you have jobs that you hate to do, like if you hate painting florals or if you hate painting shiplap, that's the kind of job that you practice like raising your prices on because I'm probably just like everybody else, you're like afraid to charge a certain amount. So the like faux wood walls, that's when I practice raising my price. I'm like, let me see if people will pay me, $1,500 a day because I hate doing shiplap like so much. I hate it. And the wood is so bad. I usually it depends on how big the wall is, but I can usually get a regular bedroom wall done in a day. And now I'm charging $1,500 for a faux wood wall because I hate doing them. And I hope most people don't want to pay that.
Yes, exactly. That's a great tip. So if you don't want to do something, charge a lot for it. That
Yeah.
way.
Well, I mean, practice, like I do a lot of experimenting with jobs that I do not want to do. And then like, if I want to do them, I'm like, whew, I'm like,
Yep.
so, I lower my price a little bit. So I get the job.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely something to that. Do you have any other bits of advice? I just want to get it all out of because especially if somebody's been in the business for over 10 years, you have a lot of stories and you have a lot of little bits of advice that you don't maybe even realize. So like some I don't even know what questions to ask, but I just want to ask an open-ended, like what just generic piece of advice have you learned that you would like to pass on, whether it's a certain part of business or maybe so you haven't had a problem with a customer ever not paying?
No.
I love to hear that. Like, love to hear that. And because I'm working with an artist here recently, and I got her on a project and I was coaching her through it. And once it was done, they hadn't paid in the first like week. And she was like sweating bullets. And I was like, oh no, it's fine. They'll pay. I really haven't had a customer not pay me in a very long time. She's like, oh, okay. So that's how I know it's a common problem. How long do people take to pay you?
Usually they pay me like right there before I leave, unless it's
Okay.
like a bank or a commercial job that, they have to have corporate write a check or whatever. That's the only
Okay.
reason it would take a week or two.
Good to know. And so you ask them beforehand, you let them know that they have to have half down and then half at the end of it before you leave, or
I'll say I take half down and then the rest the day it's done. That's usually what I say. Like the rest of the day we complete the job. I just kind of know that like big commercial jobs, obviously they're not the ones writing the check. So whatever they do is what they do. So
yeah. So true. Yeah, I feel like for big businesses, it's like it's going to take a second because we're like on the bottom of the food chain when it comes
yeah.
to who we're working with.
Well,
Crystal,
and they probably have a schedule of when they write their checks, and maybe it's next Thursday. I don't know. So it comes sometimes you have to wait 1 or 2 weeks, but never more than that.
right? Okay, yeah. And Crystal just commented too. She says that she has a rule that they pay before she leaves, unless it's corporate. So
Yeah.
if we all three of us do that, it's pretty common. Okay.
Yeah.
She also just had a comment. She goes, exactly, priced herself out because even if you hate it, I can be bought. Like I can be bought too, Crystal. Like pay me enough. I'll go paint rocks. I don't care.
Yeah, I know. just, obviously, posting twice a day is like so important because, you think everybody's seeing your stuff and nobody, most people are not seeing your stuff. So they're not bothered. You know what I mean? They're not seeing it every single day.
That's a really good reminder.
Every time I get questions, and I get questions and emails from artists all the time, like, hey, can any pointers, and I say the main things that I've already talked about with you. And then I tell them to go to your page to go join your thing, because I know you have a paid version and a free version. And I know there's good information all over both of them.
Thanks. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Because, oh my gosh, if it wasn't for you, I'd still just be painting murals every day and not having any fun. Boring murals.
Okay, so prints and whatnot, they're your fun thing. And then murals are just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah, well, I mean, murals is just, which I'm getting different with murals now, like, because people are seeing more of my creativeness and what I can do outside of paint this, can you just paint this for me? You know what I mean? I'm getting a lot more jobs where they're like, you have creative freedom. You can just do whatever you want. And I think that that's just going to keep getting more and more like that. You know what I mean? Because I'm overpricing probably the jobs that I don't want to do. And I have more time now for the jobs that I do want, the bigger jobs, the commercial jobs, the creative freedom jobs,
Mm-hmm.
There's just like this switch over from, usually people find stuff that they like on Pinterest and they want you to paint that, and that's kind of what I did for a long time. I would make adjustments. Obviously, I'm not going to copy anything exactly, but a lot of people, they know what they want, and they're afraid to, have you do something they don't know what it's going to look like yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They have their inspiration and they want it as close as possible. And now I'm getting a lot more commercial jobs that they're like, we want your style, do this, not, anything else. So that's cool. It's getting cooler and cooler.
Cool. I like that. Awesome. Yeah, I have been meaning to do more canvas stuff. I just cannot make myself do it. I don't know what it is. And maybe just like the whole new baby thing has all my attention in that area. And maybe like one day I'll go back to doing canvas stuff. But lately I've just kind of given up on the print stuff. And I feel like we've almost switched places. And I've always loved that you had murals in your name. I was like, oh man, I should have done that.
Oh my God, I've always hated it. I'm like, this is so boring and like a lame name.
No, I love it. And because I have like art by Andrea, and that's so broad, and which is good in some ways, but murals are just like you said, where the money's at, and so it's just I guess it's good to have your advertising in your name like that. It's kind of how I see it. But.
Okay, cool. That's fun. I always hated it, but okay, cool.
Great. Awesome. Okay. Well, do you have anything else that you want to add before we wrap this up? I think we're going on 30 minutes, and that's really all I have for you. Everybody go. I'm going to have everybody go listen to your first episode so they can either hear the differences or, I know. Like, I'm sure the intro to the podcast on the first episode that we did was so cool. And there's like no editing in the first one too. So I'm like, go listen to that if you really want to. But,
that's funny. I don't know. I should have thought of something.
No, you're good.
I'll probably think of something later. I'll be like, dang it. I don't know. I would say keep listening to you.
Thanks. I'll Venmo you after for telling people that.
I don't know. I think follow artists. Like, I think you've said this before, like, just, you have to follow artists and kind of do what's working for them and do what you think will work for you, what you like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I would have never thought, obviously, on my own to do all the different things I'm doing. Like, I see all these other people doing these things, and then it makes me want to do it. And so you put your art on all these other little, interesting ways to make a little bit of money, if you want to do that, if you don't just want to paint murals every day.
Yeah, I see a lot of artists, and I actually advertise this to a lot of people too. And they're like, hey, I'm an artist. I want to make money, when I get the random messages on Instagram or whatnot. And I'm like, look, murals are where the money's at. And if you want to just, do a few murals a week or a month just to pay the bills, and then do whatever you think is fun on the side. And I think that's what you're doing too. And that's what I do sometimes when I do other stuff besides hang out with a baby. And it's pretty common. I see that murals are where the money's at. And even it's still using a paintbrush. It's still fun, but even your thing, it's you make big bucks doing murals, and you're still like, I want to do prints and stickers because that's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And I'll probably be over it, in 2 years. Who knows? Like I just go in and out of things, and I'm just like, I want to try all these fun, cool new things. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm over that, so this is what I'm doing for the next 2 years.
I love that. It's just a reminder that you don't have to stay with whatever you want to do. You can just change it up. Like I'm ending my friend of the month subscription, but it was fun while it lasts. And I see my old videos on there of I would go live every time I would do the thing, like everybody sign up. And I used to get so excited when people signed up. And then now 3 or 4 years later, I'm like, I'm over it. Like, let's change it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I had for today. I'm glad we could chat. Thank you so much for coming on and keeping us up to date. I love you have such a nonchalant, like, this is what I do. No big deal. And I think it just makes it, people just overthink it a lot. And just having this just very chill conversation with you. It's like, you can do whatever you want, not overthink it. And just, it's fun just to kind of shake things up.
And one thing, this is probably like common sense, but like a lady the other day, she was like, how do I get jobs? And I went to her page and she was just posting pictures, so I was like, you need to start posting videos, like taking videos and making them fun. And then also like paint rooms in your own house, even if it's an apartment. I mean, you can paint it back, you can paint it out. It's just paint. So I would just paint rooms in your own house and just post every day as much as you can, and post old stuff. I used to be afraid to like post old stuff thinking people have already seen it, but no, a lot of people haven't already seen it. So post old stuff and post every day. Those are another little thing, that paint at your own house if you don't have a job outside.
I love it. Yeah. Posting old stuff. That's actually what I'll go to the memories on Facebook and I'll see what memories I've done a couple years ago, and I'll literally just repost. Like, remember this?
With a new song. So it's like new again. Most people don't even remember.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Well, great advice. Thanks so much. We'll keep in touch, and I will see you in the Dominican Republic.
Yes. I'm so excited. Can't wait.
Okay. Yeah. I'll email you or I'll text you and all the things when I know more about it, just to make sure you're going to come and have fun with us. So.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Artist Academy podcast. I've been putting out at least one episode per week for more than 4 years on this podcast, and it's really cool to see those download numbers go up and up as time goes on. And that's because artists like you listen and share these episodes. So really, when I say thank you, I mean it. It's really cool to see progress along the way. And anyway, if you like this type of art and business content, then I highly encourage you to get the audio version of my book, Mural Money, with over 15 hours of listening inspiration. I'm currently running a special of just $17 for the audio version. You can go to muralmoney.com to find it. And that comes with a bunch of extras like my art supply list, my pricing guide, recommended book and podcast list, and so much more. I filled that book with tips from my art journey of building a profitable mural career. Plus, I've included the best of the best advice from guests I've interviewed on this podcast. It's the most affordable all-in-one book of advice on art and business that I have. And if you enjoy listening to me here, then I know you'll like the book too, because I read it myself. All 15 hours of it. The book is available on Amazon and Audible normally for $25, but if you go to muralmoney.com, that is where you can grab the special $17 deal while it lasts. If you haven't listened to my book yet, this is your sign to do it. Again, normally $25. I'm running a special for $17, but you have to go to muralmoney.com. That's where you can grab the audio version of it. And that's all I have for you today. So I will see you next week for another episode of the Artist Academy podcast.